What is one about? This is roster of the Burbank Misfits. And of course, you're listening to, as always, the Misfit Effects. As always, I'm joined with my wonderful, excellent co-host, CW.
Hey.
And today we have someone who I've met, I believe, through playing video games and for Suede Vegas. They started porn in 2016. They are the founder of Porn is Not Evil. They've been nominated for AVNs, XBiz Awards, T Awards, BBW Awards. They're a producer, a performer. They won the 2018 T Award for Stuntcock.
Best VR scene.
Best VR scene. And Kay Bailey, how you doing?
I am good. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Every day is a fun day, even if you're tired, you can't move.
Yeah, I got no sleep. I got in late and then woke up early.
I'm sorry, I just got distracted by something behind me. So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Kai Bailey. I am the founder of Porn is Not Evil. I don't know what I should say about myself because I guess I leave it all out on the table when I'm naked on camera.
I mean,
so I guess it depends.
No, because
what would you like to know?
Like some of our viewers may know you, some of them may not. Some of them might say, "So who is this person?" Because we never know what someone does and does not know anymore, and what they're watching. So I do got a question.
Go ahead.
Like you said, it's true. What?
Oh no, I was saying it's true. Like they might know and they might not know because my partner and some other people started calling me the most known unknown because I've done about 1,000 scenes or more and I'm still widely unknown.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of scenes.
Yeah, it's been a long 5 years. And yesterday was my porn anniversary, 6 years. So
okay,
oh, wow. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
So what first of all, like what got you into this crazy world of smut?
Well, I think a lot of it started from depression, probably because it was my lifelong dream and I didn't know a way to get into it, and I kept trying to find a way to do it, and it seems impossible. It's like how do you get to the major leagues? I don't know, play at the single A level, but it's like there's no minor leagues for porn except making it, and that's what I did. I just made it and I kept making it. And in 2016, the things most people don't hear is I was making porn like every other day for most of that year, and then almost bankrupted myself doing it and became homeless, and then got hired by my favorite company of almost 30 years. So it was a little storybook at that point.
What company was that?
Evil Angel.
Oh. Yeah, you made it seem like it was some little small company. That's a big one.
Nope. Yep. The first mainstream company to notice me was my favorite company, and I was shocked and dumbfounded.
I mean, that's always a big benefit of
For it.
So what is explain to us what is Porn is Not Evil?
So it's a brand that I founded because I started filming. When I started filming trans porn, which is something that I never had an issue with, and I'd been dating trans people, and I was a trans activist for maybe 4 or 5 years prior to ever doing porn, and I just started filming trans porn, and little did I know that within 6 months it would become the most mainstream thing in the industry, and it's been the most searched for category in the past 5 years. So it's been a little crazy with all the things that have happened. But Porn is Not Evil is the attempt to bridge the gap between trans porn and cisgender adult entertainment, because I don't, there's no difference to me. Like, trans women are women, and I'm glad a lot of the industry is actually seeing that, women are women. So it's like the mainstream is closing, like with our friend Xander from Suede, he's bridging the gap too, and he's bridged it with Brazzers. So it's like, you want to see that with the highest possible platform possible, and I think that's absolutely wonderful.
I was just talking to somebody, I want to say like 3-4 days ago, about like about that in general, that um early on, like I know when I first started doing stuff around the industry, it was really like, a hidden thing that existed, but they didn't really want to talk about it, like trans performers, whatever. And now it's becoming more and more accessible, and people want to see that, and it's just like becoming less and less taboo. Like I'm saying like that to not just to sound adequate, but like yeah, more people are like admitting that they actually watch trans TS porn.
Yeah, there's no really no stigma behind it anymore, except for like the things that are kind of like still stuck there and kind of wash up a bit. Because I mean, you see it from some people, but I feel like for the majority of it, it's kind of gone. Because like you have straight categories like blending together, like trans women are being nominated in the mainstream cis female categories at AVN. It's like that's what you want to see, because that's how it all blends together, and that's how equality happens. It
Yeah,
took many years, but
yeah, because I've seen recently, like just with transgender in general, like on like Girls Way, you're starting to see TS people slowly coming into the mix on that website. And it's okay, whatever. And it used to be like, well, people still said, well, they say derogatory terms to the person, like about the person, because they want this or that.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's come along with and like I really commend that in general, because it's very heart aching to see how people can't get over certain things, because everybody has something that they enjoy to watch, and they just make it seem so difficult, and they want to be so derogatory toward everybody, you know.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems. I mean, trans people just want to live their lives, and a lot of the things that people don't see is that, like, like when I started doing this, and then over the years, like, I've lost all my friends that I had previous to porn. I've lost a lot of my family. It's like, and it's like I don't care. Like, like I'm living my life, but it's more difficult for them because they tend to lose their family just for transitioning, and that is not okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very, it's very true. It's yeah, I have I'm a personal trainer, and I have a trans client, and it's man, it's a very well from the outside looking in. I'm like, whoo, what a decision to make, but not a decision, because it's like who everybody wants to be who they are. And in this industry, I notice like people are very like hesitant, but I say like with the explosion of it in the last like 5 years, I feel like there's definitely a market and there's definitely like an opening of it, but like there still needs to be much more of an understanding.
Yeah, and I feel like I've said before to people who have done my podcast before, that my favorite podcast we've done thus far, that person is a TS person. So it's just I just find him interesting how people interact. And you talking about transitions, whatever. Uh-huh.
Talking about Haven.
Kimber, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but the transition thing, whatever, it's just like it takes a lot for them to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and they are living their true self. And it just, in this society, you live your true self, or you express who you are, or express who you want to be, and just be who the identify, be your own identity, is wrong. And who the F are you to tell someone that they are wrong for trying to live their true identity?
Mm-hmm.
So it really pisses me off. And like, yeah. So that's why I really I really think what you're doing with porn is not evil is a great necessity. When did you start that?
So I started that in 2017 sometime. It's a little unclear because I just started filming porn, and it was under Kai Bailey. But then Porn is Not Evil kind of was just like sitting in front of me, and I didn't even think about making it into a brand. And then I was just like, oh, this is something I should do. And I kind of just blended everything that I was doing together. Because at the point that I started it, I think I was like 150 scenes deep or something. So it all just kind of blended together, and that was kind of a big thing at the time.
Jesus, because Big Man Tang, because
Oh, so
that's what you say, CW.
I said that's kind of early on because now I'm timelining everything by like the amount of scenes done. Like 150 scenes in, so I'm like, that's the first third of the journey. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
because
it's go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. I'm like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say that that's how I timeline myself because it's hard to figure out because the first year I did it, going into the second year was like 3 scenes a day, every day for like 15 to 20 times a month for the entire month. So, porn, I went all in.
3 scenes a day, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was coming a lot.
I'm just exhausted thinking about that. That's 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 66, that's 63 nuts.
It was a lot of nuts every day.
That's 63 dollars. Oh my god.
You are a Scotsman.
I don't think I drunk enough water today.
That's important. That's a good point. Drink a lot of water because I didn't in the beginning, and it's not a smart idea.
I mean, Jesus.
Jeez.
I'm exhausted. I need a nap after just thinking about
Take a rest, have a sandwich. We'll get back to you.
Man,
I'm tired after one. I can possibly give him two, but Jesus.
I'm broke.
I'll be up here shooting dust.
Like a LeBron at the beginning of the game.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's what's up though. Like, at least you went into it full force as soon as Evil Angel started you out, and you committed to it and you didn't let the BS out here that shadows the entire industry break you down.
Yeah, I didn't really encounter a lot of that until after a couple of years because I started getting really well known, and then I don't know how much work you started doing, but once the whole Alex Jones situation kind of slammed into me, that's when my life kind of got crazy, and then it just hasn't stopped.
Okay, and I'm a little confused for what Alex Jones situation.
What do you mean, like
um,
Alex Jones? Like,
yeah, like the guy who's on the radio and being a really big trans bigot to people. That Alex
Okay.
Jones.
No, I mean,
So I have a web.
you said situation. I didn't know which
Yeah,
one.
so if anyone's listening to this, they can go to the domain conspiracy.com, and it has the whole Twitter links. And effectively in August of 2018, I was filming for Evil, and I woke up at 3 in the morning and I was looking at my Facebook, and I saw a meme on Facebook that was like, Alex Jones watches trans porn. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I'm looking at the meme, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at a photo of screen cap of the porn in question, and I was like, that's the side of my leg. And it was a scene with a woman named Marissa Minks, who's a really incredible performer. And sure enough, once you actually looked into it, he had a live stream going on for InfoWarsYes.com, which I don't want to plug, but
Yeah.
it's the way to do it. And he turned his phone talking about a bunch of products, and when he turned his phone, the browser window turned into a bunch of tabs, and one of the tabs was a porn video that I was in with Marissa Minks that Transerotica produced. And he was discovered to have been watching trans porn, and he is one of the biggest anti-trans bigots in the entire world.
I do want to say this, and
he doth protest too much.
What gets me, it feels like when you see one of the people who out there that is one of the biggest people against something, like it comes out in some capacity that they partake in watching it anyway or enjoy looking at it. Like if you see someone who's saying, well, I'm against transsexual, I'm against gays, and they say all this stuff, and then randomly, like a year later, they get exposed for being with the main thing that they're against. Like someone who a political person just got in trouble, like got exposed because he told somebody to get an abortion. He's one of the biggest anti-abortion people in the South, whatever. And so it's like it's always very interesting to see like someone who is always so adamant against something, they end up, being like enjoying it in some capacity.
Yeah, so, that makes a lot of sense.
What else came out of that? I want to hear more of this.
What else came with it? A lot of craziness. I mean, my life blew up real fast, and that's when I really got noticed. But then I also got the I don't know if it was a tail end, but I got hit by that bigotry train full force because I was getting people, saying all sorts of horrible things to me, and it kind of still happens today. But it's like one of those things where I wouldn't have been the person I am without expecting it to happen, because even before I did porn, when I was dating trans women, like I had friends who were really rude to me, and it's like, you're not my friend anymore. And once that happened, like it was relentless, and it was pretty relentless for like 2 years. I mean, cyberbullying, like bigotry, like the whole 9 yards. Like, I mean, it was ruthless. So, I mean, I learned how to use a VPN quick because I got DDoS a couple times.
That sucks. And I find it very, very disheartening that many of these people who will jump online to bully people via the internet, but they won't have the balls or the fortitude to say it in front of your face.
Yeah, it's the hiding behind the anonymity is like, it's frustrating because like, these are people with actual lives, and it's just like, you don't want to be hurting people, but it's like, I feel like we're in a vulnerable industry with like no real protection, and it's just like, can't you just leave well enough alone? I mean, you like the content enough to purchase it, like why you gotta actually harm people?
That's true. It's like, it is very much a industry where it's like, well, we consume your content, so hey, we treat you however, because we pay for you. When it's everybody's
very dehumanizing in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, like what gets me is how I just lost my train of thought. I had a thought in my mind and I was holding on to it, and then as soon as CW finished, I forgot what I was about to say. It's completely gone now. It was a good point, but it's gone now. But
maybe the thought got lost in the foyer.
No, because I was agreeing with what CW was saying, and then it just went away. But yeah, it's just it's just worrisome because like they come out here and they support and buy your porn, and sometimes they support and pay for it, and then they go on these sites to say all this stuff. So it's like sometimes they don't even realize they've already, giving you the money for them to insult you if they go on these sites to do that, if they're not messaging you on these social media platforms. And
Yeah.
It's like, do you not realize whatever? And then it's like it's the same type of people who jump on all these sites and just to say all this stuff, and it's like people just can't let people live their freaking lives anymore. It's always an issue that somebody wants to be evil toward people for. Yeah, people are just evil people for no reason sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like the internet is kind of full of that. I mean, you hear a lot of comedians like Bill Burr. He just talks about like, like, oh yeah, like, like the internet is just full of really mean people who say really mean things. And it's like a lot of the internet's cool, but there's a lot of people on the internet who are very mean.
Yeah.
For no reason at all. It's like they woke up one day and said, ugh, my life's a mess. Let me try to bring someone down to where I am because of whatever reason. And it's not necessary.
Sounds like you kind of figured it out there, Rockstar.
I mean, I know, like it's like it's not necessary for them to do it, and it pisses me off because like just like being a big advocate toward everybody receiving the equality, whatever, and equal rights and stuff, and for not people not to be like judged for being who they are, being their true self. It's like, why do you go out your way to do this stuff, and then these people scream out, oh, because of religion reasons, whatever, and it's like, is it really? Because the same religious text, what you say, whatever, says you shouldn't do this. So is it really for that reason, or are you just trying to be an a-hole? You know? And yeah,
Definitely, probably the latter.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go here and get heated and can't have no one to yell at about it. No, it just really gets to me because like, even if I might not be a purchaser of TS porn, I respect everything they do. I've met a lot of them. They are some of the coolest people who I've met in my time in the industry. I met people who shoot with TS, and they all seem to really enjoy it. So why are you going to rain on someone else's joy? Because someone else, like everybody out there who purchased it, enjoys it. Enjoys it. Let people enjoy it.
I mean, a lot of people strike out against things that they fear or feel that threatens their idea, air quotes, way of life, or what they perceive that like very, very narrow box. So
see, I see it as this. Like, if everybody's lucky, we all get 75 of each season. If you think about it like that, it's not that long. Why are we out here? Why do people go out there and try to waste that time to be such dingbat, You just, I don't know. I'm sorry. I went on a tangent for a second. It's very worrisome.
Well, you're not wrong for that tangent, because one of my biggest issues is like I feel like there should be a place where trans people, men and women, aren't forced into doing adult entertainment because the traditional workforce discriminates against them, and that's one of the issues now in this country, because you see Texas trying to push trans people out and trying to make it illegal for children, like preteens and teenagers to transition, and it's really frustrating because when you break it down, it's like trans people are fired for no reason from their jobs all the time, or they're not hired. And then what else do they have to do? This really vulnerable industry that has no labor protections. And it's really frustrating because their entire identity is generally sexualized and fetishized. And it's like, these are people just like the rest of us.
that's true.
And this is that big thing in Florida. Don't say gay.
Yeah.
And it's, the thing is like, yeah, to an extent, I can understand. You don't want to talk about sexuality to a certain age, but once a human is identifying and started asking questions, it's okay. Yeah, I won't say like, yeah, like you should sit a 2-year-old down and explain it to him at 2, whatever. But like, once it's appropriate, you can explain everything to them, even if you agree or disagree with someone's lifestyle.
Well, I don't know if you should actually like bring it up as a lifestyle. Like
I'm trying to find language that I could use.
I
Um,
and
yeah.
to I'm not saying that's what you're exactly saying, but I'm saying like maybe not to just from the understanding, but if I feel like if you educate a child that it's more than just these two things or whatever, then they'll know earlier on. So when they encounter it, it won't be so striking, or they won't fear it because it messes with their worldview. So, I think, and I actually think that should probably happen way before somebody's like a teen.
I mean, I agree, and that's what I was saying. Like, I would say like I first like in my mindset when I first started learning about most of the stuff, I was like 5'6", whatever. And like, but we live in an age where like, but this is you got to realize me when I don't know how old you are, guy, but like uh in the 90s it wasn't readily seen or available. So we live in a different age where we have to adjust how we educate the masses.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, like that information wasn't available and you really only saw it in porn. And I mean, you have pioneers of it early on, and then there's also people who like also pioneered it, but in like the more fetishistic way. So it's like the gap is kind of blurry because, as you were saying, like, do you want to teach somebody when they're really young? Because a lot of Republicans and other political figures will conflate sexuality with gender, and they're not the same thing. But I mean, I got in an argument with a friend of mine the other day because he sees no difference in the two, and it's like there's a huge difference. And it's like, what age do you explain this to a person? And you ask a lot of trans people, and they're going to tell you, at least in most cases, in my experience, that they realized this when they were real young. It could have been 5, it could have been 8. Like it was just, it's always really young. And most people aren't allowed access to the information, let alone the ability to do what they want to make themselves happy.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying like around that age, it's probably okay, 5'6", whatever, like between that 5 and 7 range. Just explain it to them and let them because no matter what, most people, some most, I won't say most, some already know. Some already know their like somewhat of themselves or where they're going to at that age. Some don't, and it's okay. But it's good to at least be aware of it, especially because you have it in movies. You have it in movies more, and TV shows more, and even in cartoons now. And like, it's a
Yeah.
big difference between like me growing up in the 90s and a child that was born in 2019, because it's a different world since then. And people don't want to accept that. They want to keep the same mentality they had when they were growing up, even though they don't understand, know that technology and everything is different, you know, and it's
Yeah,
out there
no, it
more.
is. It's kind of wild to see because as a kid and then being an activist, I didn't expect to see this kind of information being presented in Rocco's Modern Life. Like, and that blew my mind. Like, I don't know if you've seen like the newer remake that they did, the extension of the old stuff, but it's like the big head's child transitioned, and then there's like this whole like arc with the father being like confused and being upset, and then eventually accepting the daughter, and it's like that's really amazing because you don't see that. And it's like, like I'm getting fuzzy just thinking about it. Like it's
I have,
it's heartwarming.
I have not seen
The new one.
the newer one.
Maybe
At
that's
Very
all.
good.
That's something that's something to watch this now. I think I need to go ahead and watch that. No, because like I know it's very heartwarming to see like certain forms of media showing like, you know, that it's okay, you know, how can I phrase this? That like it's even if you may disagree with it, you know, you don't have to demonize them. Demonize,
Yeah.
yeah, and like, you know, because once you demonize somebody for, you know, living their self, you're in the wrong. Yeah, I'm trying to word that in a good manner.
I
And
mean,
it's
no, you said it right. Like they are wrong. I wish more people realize that.
no, because like because the thing is, it's like I wasn't like I personally was not around anybody that was TS or gay until I was in college.
you,
I was actually out.
you should. Oh, okay.
I know who you're talking about from high school, but they
Do
weren't
you?
out. Yeah, probably.
Do you?
And
There's
you
quite
know,
a few.
yeah, and the thing is, they weren't out. It was like, is
Well,
that
no,
person? But they weren't
you.
actually out.
I don't know.
They weren't out. And like I didn't meet people who were actually out, like just, you know, admitted their selves until I was in college. And then it's like it's just, you know, you learn more about it, and there's so many people that just I don't know how to explain it. It just ticked me, you know. They used to give these buttons out in college that says straight but not narrow. It says I'm straight, but I'm not narrow minded to the bigotry that's out
Oh,
here in the world. So that's just me. We got off topic for a second. Um, so what do you do out here outside of porn? Let's touch on that for a second.
I mean, I do have a lot of interests and a lot of hobbies and stuff, but I mean, when I try to talk about myself, I'm kind of one of those people that's like, I don't know how to talk about myself, because generally my hobbies, I mean, I'm I go hiking a lot, and that's generally one of my biggest passions outside of porn, is like through hiking and the science of long distance backpacking and through hiking. And then I was also a musician before porn and an activist. And music still is a huge hobby for me. But yeah, I think hiking and video games are my biggest things that I do outside of porn right now.
So I'm gonna be nosy now because I don't know what game because I haven't joined Suede on Sundays in a while because I'm usually been so busy on Sundays. What games are you playing now?
But we've been playing Crab Game a lot and still Jackbox. But Crab Game is really fun.
See, the thing is, for me, like it's really hard. Like with my hand issue, it's really hard for me to play crab game. So, and that's why I know when I started playing that, I was sitting back just watching. Um, and by the way, out there, we keep saying Suede. Suede is an how can I explain this? Suede
Sex
is
Worker Mutual Aid Fund.
yeah, and it basically helps sex workers who fall upon hardships. And on Sundays on Twitch, they raise money, like they basically raise money via donations, and all of it, 100% of the money that's donated, goes to help performers who experience, you know, hardships. And if you've seen like all the stuff that went on in 2020 of everybody, you know, being shut down for a while, like if someone need groceries and stuff, or they, you know, basically if someone like runs into a bad rut, you know, they really need the help, that is what they're there for. So you keep hearing us say Suede. That's what Suede is. But yeah, Yeah, but yeah, and like I haven't like I need to jump back on coming on a Sunday because I really did enjoy that. And I know I've donated a few times because I've experienced, people who are performers who just it just feels like they feel they've hit rock bottom. And some of them don't even know like platforms like this, like that can help them out.
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest things of the issue because we're so marginalized that like there should be resources outside of the industry for people like us, but there aren't. So it's good that people like Xander and Cody and Summer are doing things within the industry to help people within the industry because as we've seen in the past few years, the government doesn't really care about us and they tend to conflate us as victims of sex trafficking, even when it's consensual, which is really frustrating.
They blame y'all for sex trafficking. They blame y'all for men people cheating on their spouses. They blame y'all for people being abusive. And it's like, okay, like yes, porn is out there, but you can't blame people enjoying to watch other people have sex on all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that if like it consumes your entire life and that's all you do every day, 24 hours a day is watch porn, then yeah, it's a little much excessive. But if you just watching it to get off really quick, it's not bothering anybody. You just, you need that excitement. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So what games are you playing on your own though? Or are you only playing with
I
Sway?
mean, I've been playing Rocket League a lot, like when I'm not doing that. And I mean, actually, I have been playing a lot of video games because I have been hiking a lot more than I normally was, and I'm in the process of filming a lot at the moment. But yeah, generally I play Rocket League a lot, and it gets time consuming. And as Johnny Starlight would say, I get very angry. She's heard me yelling from the parking lot before.
I have not played Rocket League in like probably a year and a half because I really am really, really, really bad at it. I've tried it. And it's like, yeah, I just can't. I never could elevate my car to hit that ball and that goal right. And then like I'm always playing with people who are very experienced, and like while they're scoring, I'm off in the left corner by myself trying to organize, just go straight and be a team player. I'm like the handicap of the of my team.
Yeah. I call myself a pro amateur because I'm really good, but then I see dudes like spinning around the map, flying all over the place, and I'm just like, I can't do that. I'm really good, but I can't do that. Like,
So it just it's just a bad look. What's the furthest like what's the highest you ever like hiked, or is it just
the
like
highest or the farthest. So the
both?
highest I've ever hiked is probably I hiked Mount Elbert, the tallest mountain in Colorado in 2020 during COVID, which was crazy because I had to wear a mask and there was like a million people climbing up and down the mountain and it took 14 and a half hours to climb. So that was a really rough climb. But the longest I've done outside of that, like distance wise, I mean, I've hiked half the Appalachian Trail in pieces. So I've hiked about 6 states and then like pieces of others. And I've probably hiked 300 or 400 miles on myself.
Yeesh.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
Oh
a
my
little
god.
obsessed is putting it lightly. I
No,
like backpacking and
honestly, the person who you heard me talking to, that's what they were talking about. They want to do more of is more hiking and stuff like that. And I'm like, you just said 14 hours. Oh my god.
yeah, it took 14 and a half hours to summit the tallest mountain in Colorado and then back down. And
That's, is
it
it
was
was it
really
14
rugged
up and down or 14 altogether?
altogether. Because we
Okay.
started at like 2:33 in the morning and then didn't finish until like that night.
Because I'm just thinking, oh my God, that's 28 hours. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
it was a lot of hours.
you would really like to hike.
Yeah, I do really like to hike. I mean, I'm one of those guys that'll like try to figure out the science of, all right, so I have to hike for 6 months. Like, what do I have to do to get food? 100 miles in or 50 miles in. Where do I have to mailboxes to be able to eat? And like, there's a YouTuber that I actually just met a couple months ago through the reference of Johnny telling me I should contact him because this dude's like been creating like desert trails and he's hiking through like crazy deep like sagebrush forests and all this stuff that I'm just like, good lord, like how do you like go through the desert like that? And he's like finding water in the middle of nowhere, and it's just like that's crazy to me. Like I like hiking in the woods. I'm now just learning about desert hiking.
See, like,
Sounds dangerous.
yeah, because
It,
I'm like, I don't want to, like, I didn't want to, like, the thing is, like, I'm thinking, okay, you're already sweating because you're hiking, whatever, even if you're hydrated. Then you have, like, all the heat from the desert.
Mhm.
Oh my God, depending on how hot that desert gets.
How's he water?
Like
Say that
cactuses.
again.
How is he finding?
So he's finding water because the Department of Wildlife in the state of Nevada is the only one that actually does this. But they have a book for like water displacement or like water placement systems all across the state. So you can find like these different areas that have like canisters basically. Like they're one of them might be like a tire that just like filled with rainwater, or like one of them might be like an irrigation system that is there for like desert animals, and like they actually point out where all they are. So he's like pinpointing them all across the desert, and then like he's going into areas where there's like mountains, but like they're all dry, and he's only finding like trickles. And like in one video that I watched, he created his own trail in Nevada, and he's like he found water after going without water for like 3 days, and the dude's like breaking down crying on camera because like he couldn't find water, and he had no water for days.
Oh my God. See, uh, I don't know. I would go insane. Like, especially,
I mean, it's definitely exciting when I guess you come out the other end, like you did that, you conquered something somebody didn't do.
yeah, because you accomplished it. But
Scary.
yeah, that's a lot. I commend you for doing that because all I could do is cheer you on. Like,
There's certain levels of it that are way crazier than me because I'm like I like hiking in the woods. I'll hike for hundreds and hundreds of miles. But then there's dudes who like because you have the Appalachian Trail, which is like 2,400 miles or something, and then you have dudes. There's a thing called the Coast to Coast Trail, which goes from like the upper part of Maine all the way to the border of Washington on the ocean, and it's just like that's insane to me. Like that is absolutely nuts. And some dude I found out did like an entire perimeter hike of the entire country and almost died doing it. Like
That that's insane.
like how often like did he rest?
I don't know. Like I haven't read a lot about that guy, but he that's like I don't know. That's like fucking 9,000 miles or something. Probably much more than that. Like this was like three across the country or four. Like it's got to be like 20,000 miles. I don't even know.
Yeah, like did that take
Jesus.
maybe I don't know hiking, but did it take him almost like years?
Yeah, it's like this guy that I saw in the Amazon. Like he did an entire hike of the Amazon River, and it took him like 2.5 years or something.
See, when it comes to that, it just means you guys gotta
That's,
give up everything you have or you whatever for those 2.5 years just to do that. Like,
Yep, it's so hike the 12,000-mile American Perimeter Trail. I just had to look it up.
shit.
That's too much for me. I mean, I barely have 6 months off, let alone like years.
Yeah. Like how do you set your life up to just be like, okay, I'm gonna go on this hike for like a couple years, and then I'm gonna come back.
Yeah, the one YouTuber that I was talking about like quit his job and now that's all he does. He just through hikes and like has Patreon and YouTube and edits and posts hiking videos.
See, the thing is
Like,
like, if you can find a way to monetize it, I can understand it, but some people just do it to just do it, and they're not getting paid to run all these places. And it's like, in my mind, it's like, how much did you save up before you did this? And like, yeah. And what, huh?
I was gonna
on
say,
average, it says that most people pay $1 per mile, like on the Appalachian Trail. So it's like you're paying like $2,500 roughly.
oh, that doesn't sound like much, but for all.
That's excluding gear and everything else, and it depends on what part of the gear you're into. Because I'm learning about ultralight hiking now, and the less weight you want, the more expensive it is, and it's really frustrating.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but like in general, like depending on how many years it is, because you still have to like, pay for other necessities over time. Because I'm not an experienced hiker, so I don't know what all is necessary or needed in order to run like that. But
yeah, there's things that people don't encounter or at least plan for. Because I mean, I was hiking the entire state of Massachusetts like many years ago, and I folded my ankle like trying to climb through a stream, and I had to hike almost 40 miles on a folded ankle because like it was swollen to the size of a baseball basically. And I was like, I need to get to the next town because I cannot do this. So yeah, it took me like a day and a half. It was miserable.
See, and the thing is, like you don't bring a phone or anything, or
Oh no, I do. I actually I have a phone, and then I also just got Garmin makes technology. I mean, I should plug Garmin because their products are too expensive, but they have like satellite messengers and GPSs on watches and other like GPS devices. So it's like you want to be prepared because if you're going out into like the deep backcountry canyoneering and other places where people aren't, then like you could die.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like you said, you like folded your ankle. Like God forbid, something happens and you are unable to walk, and like you don't have a phone with you. You just lie there, just yeah. And there's hope.
I mean, I was on the Appalachian Trail, so it was like a better chance of me encountering a person who could help me. But like those trails I was talking about before in the desert, like you're gonna be lucky if you see anybody, let alone a helicopter.
So yeah, like that would see, stuff like that would deter me from like, even if I could run like and hike and stuff like that. Stuff like that would deter me from wanting to do it because I'll be scared to death of just breaking something and then just being in a small ditch somewhere, and yeah, and no one ever finds me. And then 4 years later, oh, who body is this? Oh, that was just Raw Star.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, I was just hiking out in the mountains, and my buddy was telling me that there was a guy, he was in like his 60s or 70s, when he always went hiking up in the mountains, and then there was an avalanche and it slid him down the side of a ravine basically into a ditch, like in a canyon, and he just died. And like people were just like, he's gone missing, where is he? And then like 5 years later they found his skeleton.
Oh, see, rest in peace to that guy, but
yeah, rest in peace indeed.
Like it's just because you just gotta horrifying. Think about like you don't die right away, so you're just there.
Yeah, and then nobody finds you for years.
People dying of dehydration out in the middle of the mountains would be really horrible.
It's like I collapsed a few weeks ago, and luckily enough, I was able to reach a phone after a few hours. And it's like, if I wasn't able to reach that phone, like who knows how long I would have laid there before I was able to get somebody.
That's really brave.
Thank you, CW, for saving my life. But yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's kind of like what satellite messengers are. They're basically like the life alert for hikers.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm trying to think of other places I know people have hiked, but that you're a good one for that because but I know it's very fulfilling because one, you get a lot of exercise, you build up that cardio. That's probably why you could nut 63 times 63 times a year. all that, all that.
now,
63 times a year is not a lot.
I'm sorry, I'm saying 63 times a month. Like it comes
Yeah.
full circle. How can you nut 63 times a month? Go on a 14-hour hike a few times.
Eat a lot of vegetables and hike forever.
Oh God. Well, dang.
again,
I don't like vegetables and I can't hike. Well, guess this is gonna happen for me. Oh God. Full circle, everybody. Full circle. Oh God. Do you have anything else you have coming out that your fans should be looking for?
Oh, right now I've just been compiling content to, basically just further build Porn is Not Evil. And I mean, other than that, I've just been kind of like being a recluse because COVID made me not want to really go out and do anything. And, navigating this industry during that was real challenging. So it's one of those things where now I'm just like, all right, what do I do? I should put a lot of effort into my hobbies and like kind of like let porn show for a little bit. That's why I haven't been active a lot, but I've been active on like tube sites and stuff, posting videos and on my clip stores. But yeah, it's just like I'm like, when do I have time for myself? Like I should probably relax for a moment.
COVID kind of did the opposite for me because like CW can tell you, I didn't really like anybody coming to my house at all. And like it just got to the point where I was just like I needed interaction. So I started doing more stuff with other people after COVID. Like I want to say like after the first 5 months of COVID in 2020, it was just like I need humor. I need human interaction. So yeah, so I did kind of the opposite because getting old out here.
Yeah, no, 2020 was a real interesting year for me because I was like, what do I do? I don't want to be in the city anymore. Like COVID's everywhere. I don't know what I'll do. I'll drive across the country and visit family. And then I drove across the country and then like Evil Angel was like, hey, do you want to shoot? So I drove back across the country and then it happened like 3 more times. So I drove across the country like 4 times that year. And I got to see a lot of things that were cool, but it's like it was exhausting. I drove like 70,000 miles in the summer of COVID.
Are you like were you doing like the state visitation thing or just driving?
I was just driving. I actually that was something that was really weird to me because like like in the beginning it's just like, all right, so what is going to happen? Is there going to be authoritarian rules put in place? Like I remember I was like, should I drive through Kansas? Because like they're saying that like if you come into Kansas over the border and you don't have a place to stay and you don't quarantine for 14 days, then they'll arrest you. But it's like, how can they enforce that? Because it's such a big state. And I'm just like, I could come in off the side of the highway, like, like it's just it was a lot of really confusing stuff to navigate because Massachusetts, especially like New England states, Massachusetts was saying that like if you came in from out of state and you didn't quarantine for 14 days and have a negative COVID test, then they would fine you something like $750 a day, which is, I'm exaggerating, but it was a lot of money. And it's just like, how can you enforce this? Like, I'm really confused. A performer told me she went to New York City and she had to like basically like fill out like a thing being like, like, where are you going to be? What are you going to do? And then she left. And then like 9 months later, they called her and they were like, hey, so where are you staying? And she's like, I haven't been in New York for like a year.
Yeah, I know.
So, government works.
Someone stayed at my house a little over a year ago, and New York made her sign all these paperwork paperwork that says that when she got to California, that she was going to just straight up quarantine and not do anything for a little while. And she actually followed it, but I know a lot of people just ignored what they signed when they left New York. So
Yeah, I mean, you see now, especially like, like I feel like capitalism is sacrificing us because the CDC is like, oh, it's 5 days now. It's not 14 anymore. It's just like, okay, so what is it? Like, I can, if I'm sick for 2 weeks, but I have to quarantine for 5 days. Like, this is all confusing.
well, I think the thing is like
Money for health. Too much money.
yeah, they went like it's like the dude said the other day, it's not going anywhere, and like it's going to be an integral part of our society forever now. And I feel like we're never going to be through it because we're technically still in a pandemic, but you don't really see where like you do see masks, but you don't see it a lot anymore, and people are
Yeah,
just
you see it in the cities. Like, I mean, I was just in like backwoods places with like 1,800 people, and like nobody's wearing a mask. And if you wear one, they look at you like you're like the devil.
well, I said that when I went to Florida. This
That's
is
what
like this is about a I want to say almost a year ago now though, and I was in Florida, and everybody like I wore a mask when I was there, and everybody gave me a look. But Florida, this is when Florida was at its highest, and I'm like, I just want because I know I'm all like I can get sick easy, and it's like they all gave me dirty looks.
Yeah, I felt really bad when the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Not because I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, but because I had to sit there and watch people like everywhere not wearing masks during the middle of the pandemic.
So I'm a Red Wings fan. Don't judge me.
I don't judge you. I mean, I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan from Boston. Like, how much of an oxymoron can I get?
I am like, yeah, we're both from Indiana. So, and I became a Red Wings fan, and I don't like the Patriots. So,
All right. I mean, I'm a Packers fan, so my allegiances are all over the place. But
Buffalo Bills. But yeah,
they should have won last year.
I'm glad they changed the rule because that game was good.
Yeah, it
And
was.
so much stuff. So many rules got broken that game, and they just let it slide. But that's different story, different time. But we have reached the end. Yeah, tell everybody where they can find you. They can, buy. Everybody out there, we don't steal porn. We purchase. Tell everybody where they can purchase.
Please don't pirate porn, purchase porn. I am Kai Bailey. You can find me at pornisnotevil.com. I have Porn Is Not Evil is a studio on X videos if you want to find a whole lot of previews before you decide to buy content. And you can find me kaibailey.manyvids.com and Porn Is Not Evil on Clips for Sale, and basically just Kai Bailey in many places, and Porn Is Not Evil in many places. And you can also check out Evil Angel for other scenes. So yeah, I'm in a lot of places. You just gotta Google me.
CW, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at CCFitnessLA, Twitter, CCFitnessLA, at ccfitnessla.com, and you can find me at CC Fitness on Facebook.
Real quick, I am Rawstar, RAWSTARR on Twitter and on Instagram. If you want to find us, we are the Burbank Misfits on Twitter, on Instagram, Burbank Misfits on Facebook and on Twitter, and burbankmisfits.com lists everything we do from photography, editing, graphics, fitness, and all the other fun stuff. Again, Kai, thanks for coming on. You are a very interesting person. I'm glad that you were able to give us an hour of your time. And everybody,
I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no doubt. This is fun. Everybody, please tune in next week, and we will see you all next time.